Well, hello, everyone, and welcome again to the podcast. And I'm really happy for you to get to know in this episode Crystal Adam Scott. Welcome, Crystal.
Thank you, Gordon, for having me on the show.
Well, I'm excited about our conversation. We were chatting a good bit before we started recording, and Crystal's doing some stuff that I think we're all pretty passionate about, and that is suicide prevention awareness. And I'm excited for you to learn about her organization, hopeunite.org. But Crystal, as I start with everyone, why don't you tell folks a little more about yourself and how you've landed where you've landed?
Thanks, Gordon. Well, in 2017, we lost my husband to suicide. He left a son behind who was 2 at the time. And I really didn't understand what he was going through until around 2020 when the whole world stopped, as we all know.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I started to process my feelings and really realized what he was feeling like because I didn't want to be there at the moment. I felt those feelings of not wanting to have to wake up and do it again. But I had my children, therefore I felt like I had to. But at that moment, there was such a deep empathy for the pain that he was in, that I just had this thought. I'm like, so many other people are going through this. Is there anything that we can do to help? So we my son and I, he was 4 or 5 at the time, got these positive affirmation cards and started going around our community passing out these cards to people, and it was creating this connection that was beautiful, and it was healing on both ways. So, it would connect to the person's heart, but it also was helping us heal because we were able to do something with the pain and create a purpose from it.
Yeah, that's wonderful, and it's just such a Crystal was sharing with me before we started just the card, and for those that might be seeing the video, I'm sure she'll share it with us, but it's just a simple card that says "You matter," and then on the other side, it's got information for suicide prevention, the suicide prevention hotline, and that sort of thing. But one of the things you were saying, Crystal, is you're building more of a network and also providing actual support through a call center.
Correct. So through that act of kindness that we started doing, my son and I thought, how can we get more people involved in this? And so that's where Hope Unite began. And we have these very simple cards. It's got a purple rose on it that my daughter actually drew this as part of her healing process. And the message is you matter because it's the message that I really believe that if my husband would have received on the day that he took his life, he may really still be here because that's the lie that that you think in your head is that, oh, life would be better off without me, or my life doesn't really matter, or my trauma is so bad I just can't get through it. And I'm saying this because I felt all of those feelings, but the truth is that you do matter. So we started passing these cards out, and then on the back of the card it invites the receiver to either join us and spread the message with other people. We call it the rose that never dies. My son
Mm.
made that up, actually. So he goes up
Mhm.
to people and he'll say, "Can I give you a rose?" That's his icebreaker phrase. And
Mhm.
everyone says yes. And he goes, "It's the rose that never dies to remind you that you're special." So that's kind of what we share with our volunteers who are our boots on the ground workers that are giving these out every day all over the United States. And even in it's reached 16 countries, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. So either 13 or 16. So on the back of the cards, if the person's in crisis, we send them to 988, which is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. But then there's the
Mhm.
question, are you in need of support? Because if you're in need of support, reach out to us and we're going to help you find it. So what these cards are is they're a kind connection tool, but also a resource for someone who's silently suffering
Mhm.
to have them reach out to us. So as the organization has grown, and it's Hope Unite International, at the website is hopeunite.org, where you can go find out more ways to get involved. As we continued to grow, we were getting a lot of support requests. So we actually have now a call center for people to call that are in need of help. And we have volunteers, care coordinators that go out into the community and find the support that's available for them that they don't know about. So we cut out the minutia, because when you're in a traumatic mindset, a lot of times you're not looking for support. Many times it needs to come find you. And so
Mhm.
that's what these cards are about. So we have people reach out to us all the time. We go out into the community, we find them the support, and then we do the connecting. So it's it takes out the stress of finding support or being put on hold or sent to another organization or just being handed a list of resources that's going to take you 4 hours to go through and call. We do that for you. So
Mm.
what we're doing is we're building a network of support for anybody who is in the mind, body, spirit, health space. We're looking for people who are passionate about helping others, passionate about their lives making a difference in other people's lives, that are passionate about service to the community, and we're asking them to join our network. So we've been building this network for a while now. We have therapists, we have holistic healers, we have spas, we even have people that are willing, like elder support. But we're building this network so that when people call in, we have already vetted the really good organizations and businesses that are there to help the community, and we can just make the connection a little bit easier.
Yes, that's great. That's great. So with your call center, how does that work? You just is it volunteers that just are on call for the call center?
Yes. So we actually reached out to retired veterans or retired police officers, anybody who has been in the space of service to the community.
Mhm.
And we asked them if they would like to volunteer. And many of them have come up and said, yes, I would like to be somebody who answers the support calls. So we're building that also. So if you're someone who is interested in helping answer support calls, we would love for you to volunteer with us, especially if you are in that space in your life. If you've ever been, a veteran, we have a lot of retired veterans actually that are
That's
helping out in that
Oh,
area.
that's great. That's great. Yeah, and I think that's just a whole segment of the population, particularly people that have gone through a lot of trauma or maybe suffering from PTSD and that sort of thing that are at risk for having suicide, as we refer to in the clinical world, suicidal ideations
Mhm.
is the clinical term for, somebody that's thinking about suicide. Yeah, and so with getting people to the help that they need, what are some of the other avenues that you have besides therapists and that sort of thing? Because I know that can vary across the country as far as, where people can find help.
Well, it's interesting because we're actually it does vary across the country. So we do have a lot of therapists that we do have some therapists, let me say that correctly,
Mhm,
that have onboarded that are able to do telehealth anywhere. But we also are looking for, I mean, we even have a yoga instructor that does trauma healing. So we're looking for anything that's in the holistic health space, the mental health space, or the spiritual health space, because we come together as firm believers that we're a three-part being, and so taking care of those three parts. We even have a nutritionist. So
mhm,
taking care of those three parts creates balance, and a lot of times that helps us navigate life's challenges. So that's what our goal is to really help someone full circle with wherever they're
yeah,
they're going through. We do have a lot of treatment centers. Speaking of addiction, we just placed 4 people in treatment this month. We were able to vet that really well, and it's going really well. We have had people that were suicidal and bipolar that we've been able to connect to the right therapist, because sometimes there, like you were saying, there's all sorts of different types of treatment. There's also sorts of different types of therapeutic healing techniques. But that
mhm,
doesn't mean it's gonna fit for everybody, which is another part of why we're doing what we're doing, because we really wanna make the correct fit for that person. I mean, we have a pretty in extensive questionnaire that our care coordinators ask, the people in need of support so that we really know what we're looking for them.
right, right. And so with your volunteers, how do you, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it, how is it that you vet them to make sure that they're gonna be yeah, I guess kinda cut out for doing this kind of work.
Well, we have 2 volunteer positions right now. We have a couple office things going on and like in the community here in South Florida. But our volunteer positions are we have people giving the cards out, and that's anywhere. Doing one act of kindness a day. We actually give them a packet that gives
Mhm,
them monthly. We keep in contact with them monthly, and we give them this little piece of paper for them to fill out. How many cards did they give out that day? What act of kindness did they participate in? So we're really focusing a lot of our volunteers on getting the movement out. So
mhm.
that's easier to vet. And then we have our care coordinator team, and typically I do the interviewing personally, and it's either somebody who has been, like I said, a retired veteran, a retired police officer, or in that kind of workspace so that they're already prepared for this type of work.
Right,
So
right,
that's how
yeah,
we do it.
and, yeah, and I think what's great about this is that to me at least to me, the number one cause of suicide, if you were to cut away everything, would be people having a sense of loneliness and a sense of
Right.
hopelessness, and so I think for anybody to make contact with them and just have that human contact is really what is the most healing part of it all. And it might
Very
be that they're not necessarily doing anything clinical with the person other than just being present with them and being with them.
perfect example. Last weekend, actually, there was a elderly woman that called in that needed some help cleaning her house because she couldn't bend and do the things she used to do. So we got a team of 6 girls. It just happened to be girls, could be men
Mhm,
too. 6 women that went over to her house, her one-bedroom apartment, and we did everything she needed within an hour and a half, and she felt like I mean, I can't even tell you how special she expressed to us that she felt, and she wants to get involved as a volunteer, and that wasn't the motivation, but that's what happens. So she wants to start passing out the cards. It's like the vision that I have for Hope Unite is this: for every person that's went through a traumatic experience over the past 5 years, which I would say a majority of the population has experienced some sort of trauma in the past 5 years.
mhm.
If they would just reach out to one person every day and let them know their life is valuable because their life is valuable. See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If we all did something easy like that once a day, imagine the world change that would be made. Honestly, think about it. And it's not that
Yeah,
hard to do. So that's
right.
really like I like to encourage people to do that. And the reason I kind of caveated the service that we did this weekend was we got 6 girls to go over there, right? And do this work for this woman in a one-bedroom apartment that took us an hour and a half. If we only had 2, it might have taken us 4 hours, and we all got to reap the benefits of that positive energy, how happy and grateful the woman was that we were able to serve her, and we all left there feeling amazing and purposeful and caring. And kindness is a reward in itself. It raises its serotonin and dopamine in our brain. So this is,
Mhm.
it's not just saying, "Hey, go be kind," and that's it. It's a full circle win-win. This is a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, right.
So it's a great mental health tool is being kind, and positive affirmations we believe in, self-care tips we offer people. We're very big into supporting the whole human,
Yes,
mind,
I
body, and
love
spirit.
that. I love
Mhm.
that. One of the things that I'll mention, Crystal, is that in addition to this podcast, I have another podcast. It's been on hold for the last year just with all that I've gone through as we were talking about with
Yeah.
the loss of my wife at the last year. But the title of that podcast is incidentally the Kindness and Compassion podcast. And so maybe we'll use this some of this and that podcast as well. But you're exactly right. I think that having just simple acts of kindness with people is really what can be so transformative for people's lives, but also just changing the world. I mean, as you and I
Yeah.
both know, there's so much polarization in the world right now as far as,
Oh,
divisiveness and all of that sort of thing. And I think, my hope is we can begin to change that.
I'm on board. Anything,
Mhm.
I am on board because it's
Mhm.
funny. I would always say it's not a small group of people doing a little. It's a large, I mean, doing a lot.
Mm.
Sorry. It's not a
Mhm.
small group of people doing a lot that's going to create world change. It's a lot of people doing a little together. Right.
Right.
Every time when I talk about Hope Unite and the You Matter movement, because that's what it's called, Hope Unite is a move. We are a movement of kindness, connection, and support. That's what this is all about. And so just little acts of kindness like this
Mhm.
is such a great tool. I can't tell you the beauty that has come from this simple little card. I mean, and the
Mhm.
responses and the people that have gotten involved. It's been such a healing and a blessing for me to even be able to be a part of this, because every time somebody gives me accolades like, oh, it's so great what you're doing, my response is I just said yes. I just
Mhm.
said yes to what I believe I was
Right.
put here to do. And everybody has the opportunity every day to have an
Yeah.
intentional act of kindness. See, there's a difference.
Right.
People talk about um, do a random act of kindness. What if we all did an intentional act of kindness and we did it
Mhm.
together? So,
Right.
yeah, that is the vision.
Yeah, yeah, I love that, I love that. I was reminded of one of the when I'm doing mindless stuff of watching new YouTube, a lot of what I like to watch are people doing acts of kindness,
Mhm.
small ways, I mean, just across the board, I mean, just with different things, particularly helping kind of the homeless population, all of that sort of thing, of being able to, look for those little ways of doing things.
I'm just asking this for to know if you know it, because I just read it not so long ago that even watching people doing kind things raises the serotonin and dopamine in your brain.
Oh,
I,
yes, absolutely.
it's amazing how powerful kindness is, and it's just it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. So thank you
Awesome.
for letting me be here.
Yes. So, Crystal, tell folks a little bit more about how they can get in touch or get involved or get some of the cards for their offices and that sort of thing.
That's definitely what we're looking for. So the more people involved, the more people are being given the message, right? And then the more people we're able to help and support. So every person involved, their effort is valuable. So what the ways you get these cards is you can go to hopeunite.org. It's not united. A lot of people like to say that. So it's HOPEUNITE.org. And you can get the cards on the website and we'll send you out a package. If you're in the mind, body, spirit, health space and you'd like to join our network, reach out to us. You can find out some more information about our support network online, or you can email me directly at crystal@hopeunite.org, and I'll connect you to our Teresa, who handles all of our network onboarding. That would be great because the more people we have to help support, the easier it is for our care coordinators to find it for the people that need it. Right.
Awesome.
So that's another
Yeah.
way. And yeah, everything's pretty much on the website.
All
Also,
right.
I
Yeah.
wanna put out our support hotline number. If there is
Okay.
anybody that needs support that you think could use what we're doing, use some help finding it, our number is 1-855-571-HOPE, which is 4673.
Awesome. And we'll have links in the show notes and the show summary for people to find that easily. So,
Great.
Crystal, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Any other closing thoughts before we stop?
Yes, you matter. Whoever's listening to this, you matter. If your little circle, it only takes you one person to be kind to, and it's easy. Write someone a note, open the door for everybody that's behind you, smile at everyone you see. It's really easy. It doesn't take too much effort to just put it in your mind to be kind to one person every day.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Crystal. And
Thank
hopefully we'll be
you.
able to connect again.